Hello, in this tutorial I will show you how to create a digital composition with Photoshop CS5. I have this background and I'm gonna integrate another images. I'm gonna use this grand piano, this tree, and this sunset. I have already placed these images into my main background, the piano and the tree. I have already placed them into the right position. For the background, I have added some adjustments to the exposure and to the selective core, just to make it look different. What I'm gonna do now is include the other background, the sunset. So I'm gonna click and drag the image into my new background. And I'm gonna place it in the place where I want to. So I'm gonna change the opacity just to make sure where I'm going. So just click and drag, and that's fine. Okay. So now what I'll do is actually create a mask layer to remove the areas that I'm not gonna use in the composition. So click on Add Layer Mask, and now with the brush tool I will start to remove the areas that I don't want to. Just making sure that I'm using the black color to remove the background. If for some reason I go wrong, then I can switch the color to white, and then I will be able to go back to the original image. So that's fine for now. What I'll do now is actually change the blending mode of this background. So I'm gonna change it to hard light. So now it looks like it's blended with the other sky, so it looks more realistic. Now in order to make this composition more realistic, I need to make sure that the lighting of the piano is correct. But as you can see, this piano has a lot of light on the side that we actually don't need. So what I have done is create a new layer, and using the brush tool I have created a new area with black that it's above of this layer. So if I make invisible the piano, then you will be able to see what I have drawn just to cover the areas where the light is. And then I just changed the opacity of the shadows so I can manipulate the level of the light. So I can go back and see that it looks better. I also am gonna do some changes to the piano, some adjustments. So I'm gonna change its exposure. So I'm gonna leave it in -2 and 0 the offset and 1 the gamma. That's fine. Now because I want to apply this adjustment just to the piano layer, I'm gonna press Alt and click. So now these changes will be only for the piano layer. Now one of the most important parts when you're creating a digital composition is thinking about these shadows. So that's what I'm gonna do for the piano. And considering that the light source is taken from this area, which is the sun in the background. So what I'll do is actually duplicate the piano layer. Right click, duplicate layer. So I assign again the exposure to my piano. And as you can see, now I have a copy of the same piano. And what I'm gonna do is actually transform this piano with Ctrl T. And I'm gonna position this piano. I can use the Alt just to modify the position of the piano. Just try to make it look like it's coming from the road. I can also right click and activate the wrap, so I have more control in the position of the object, so I can make it look more realistic. Once I'm happy with that, I can just press enter. And what I'll do is actually double click my piano, and I'm gonna use the color overlay to just give it a black color. Press OK, and I'm just gonna add some effect. I'm going to filter, and I'm going to blur, and then motion blur. I'm gonna leave it not too strong, as I want to be able to see the shape of the piano. 15 it's fine. Then click OK, and I can, if I want to, I can actually go back and modify the position. So I Control T, right click and wrap, so I will be able to modify the shadow again. And press enter. What I will do now is actually change the opacity of the shadow just to make it look more realistic. So I'm gonna leave it in 85, and that's fine. I can do the same with the tree. I can just duplicate the tree and transform it. So this is the final outcome of the composition. I have changed the exposure of the background. I have modified the shadow of the piano. I have also added the shadow to the tree. So if I go to my layers panel, then you will see that I have added the shadow of the tree. So these are very simple ways to combine different images into the same context. Just remember to use their shadows and lights accurately, so that your composition looks more realistic and makes more sense. So that's all for this tutorial of how to create a digital composition in Adobe Photoshop CS5. Thanks for watching.